Welcome to Giants Latest. Let's talk about Evan Neal because I saw a video today that he is working with Willie Anderson, who I believe that he has worked with in the past. So he's focusing on his stance, and the Giants are moving him to guard, which is long overdue, if you ask me. But I'm glad that they're finally making the change. And look, the thing about Evan Neal is I think that I think New York is tough. He's a Southerner. It's different down there, okay? I spent 4 years living in Columbia, South Carolina. It's different. And I just think that he had a little bit of a rude awakening when he was here, and I think he did not handle it the right way, as we know with some of his comments. And I think that he was humbled and learned the hard way that doesn't fly in the tri-state area. So I think because he's been humbled, because he's had a really hard time, I appreciate that in the off season he is focused on getting better. So like I said, I think this is the second year in a row that he's working with Willie Anderson. He's working on his stance. He's doing what he can do to improve. So I will give him credit for that. I'd like to see it show up on the field, but I think, like I said, just the fact that he's working on it, hoping on improving, I think is great. And I also think moving to guard and the fact that he's probably not going to be a starter are also two things that are really going to help him too. I think it's going to take some of the pressure off. And, I am hopeful that Evan Neal can resurrect his career with the Giants. He's not my favorite player by any means. I don't think he's anyone's favorite player on the Giants. But he was the 7th overall draft pick. He was predicted to be a very good offensive lineman in the NFL. He had success playing guard in college. So hopefully moving him back to that, improving his stance, being able to work on his footwork, move quickly is going to help him improve. And that's what I want to see. If the Giants can pick up his 5th-year option and they can get another year out of him being a decent guard, then we are in a good place. Wasting a 7th overall draft pick is a huge problem for the Giants. So if they can get some good play out of him, it's helpful for all of us. So I'd like to see that. Now, we talk about the Giants and we talk about plans. They obviously have made a plan moving Evan Neal to guard, seeing how that goes. What is their plan for Jaylin Hyatt? Great question. Do they have a plan for Jaylin Hyatt? I'm not so sure. And I have a lot of questions about Jaylin Hyatt. He's a guy that I really liked. I thought he was going to be successful here. I felt like maybe Brian Dable had some sort of plan for him. And I just don't know. And the fact that they re-signed Darius Slayton into a multi-year deal makes me feel like Slayton is going to get all of the snaps that maybe a percentage of them could have possibly gone to Jaylin Hyatt. I'm not so sure that whoever they bring in at quarterback is really going to change that. Does that really mean we're going to see more of Hyatt? I don't know. We had 4 different quarterbacks last year, and Jaylin Hyatt had 5 receptions or something absurd. I'm pretty positive it was less than 10 receptions. So I don't think a quarterback is going to be the thing that fixes that. And obviously keeping Darius Slayton is not going to make it better for Hyatt either. So maybe he's going to be on the trade block. I did see that he is trying to bulk up in the gym this offseason. He's posted a lot of Instagram stories about being at the gym, bulking up and working out. So maybe that's the start of his plan with the team. I would like to see more out of him. I think he's capable of being a good football player. I think he's capable of maybe splitting snaps with Darius Slayton. I want to see more from him. I had a lot of hope from him, and he was a guy that I loved in the draft. And, when we couldn't get someone like Quentin Johnston, I'm like, all right, if we're going to go back to Jaylin Hyatt, then, this is the guy. Let's make it work. And obviously, it has not been working. So, like I said, I don't know if it's going to change this year. Maybe it means that they're going to trade him, but I'm just curious to see what the plan is, and I think we'll know by week 1. So that's all I have to say about that. Let's talk about the Tush Push, because this is the offseason now, of course, when the NFL goes through all of these rules and teams come in with their ideas and proposals of what they think the league should change. So the Packers came in with a proposal this week that says that they want to ban the Tush Push, and this is their reasoning. Because of player safety and pace of play, which is according to the NFL. Now, as a Giants fan who hates the Eagles, hates the Tush Push, I'm on board. Ban this stupid thing. It's not football, it's rugby. And the last time I checked is football and rugby is different. I have watched rugby games. They are extremely confusing to me as someone who is a lover of football and who has watched a lot of football. So I just, they're not the same, okay? Let's keep the Tush Push where it belongs, in rugby, I think, and not in football. So I'm on board with it being banned. Let's move on. Let's make the Eagles get creative and actually have to do something different in their offense instead of getting 5 people behind the quarterback to push him over the line. Do you know how many less touchdowns Jalen Hurts would have if the tush push was banned? Spoiler alert, a lot. Hopefully we see that this year. Now, we have to get back to the quarterbacks because there's always quarterback talk when it comes to the Giants. None of it is really good. But what I have seen is a lot of Giants fans saying, why don't we trade for Joe Milton? And the Patriots have said, look, we're open for business. We will trade Joe Milton under the circumstance that he goes to a team that is going to help build him up, help him become a good football player, and put him in a good situation. Now, I do think that the Giants are getting there. I think obviously the biggest question is how this season is going to go and whether or not they're going to retain the coaching staff and Joe Shane. But I think ultimately, the offensive line is in a better place. The offense needs some work, which is hopefully the plan in the draft that they're going to do that. And look, obviously we don't know what's going to happen with a veteran quarterback. There is going to be one in the building, but I just think that Joe Milton has potential. And I think that when you're looking for a younger quarterback like that, you have to pick someone who you think is going to fit in your offense and who you think you can mold. And, when we talk about guys like Dart and Milrow and some of the later round picks this year, obviously the plan is that they're not going to be the starter and you have time to really help them improve. So I think the same thing would go for Joe Milton. I think if you can give up a 5th rounder for him, why not? At this point, they have 4 picks in the top 100, which is huge. It's the first time in the Giants history that they've ever had that, which also goes to show how god awful they were last year, that this is the first time in 100 years that they have that many picks in the first 3 rounds. So that's where we're at as Giants fans. But like I said, I'm on board. I think the Giants should at least entertain it and see what happens. I think he would be in a good position to succeed. I mean, I do like Kafka. I like Shea Tierney. I like some of the offensive coaches. Obviously, I think Dable is a good offensive coordinator. I don't think he's a great head coach, but I do think he would be a good coach to a quarterback, just someone who's maybe not named Daniel Jones. I don't expect him to throw tablets at every quarterback that he has. He didn't do it for the other ones. So let's hope he doesn't do that with whoever their new quarterback is, whether it's Joe Milton or not. Do you guys think the Giants should trade for him? Let me know in the comments and make sure you hit subscribe. More Giants latest coming your way.